so what I've done, because my table was unlevel, let me see if I can straighten that a little. Because my table was unlevel, I needed to level it up. So what I've done is put a couple of popsicle sticks underneath the feet so that it is level and the resin won't run off one side or the other. Okay, so that is level. That is level. This is a little off. I may have to raise that with one more stick. Hang on. Oh, I'm going to put one more stick under there. Make sure we're completely level, because what I don't want is all of my resin to run off. That's good. And then there'll be a raw end. Okay, so first order of business is to make sure. I am so glad that the camera was not turned up, because if you were here 5 minutes ago, you know that I said I felt like my chair was about to break, and it did. My chair just broke and threw me into the floor, and that's not really cool, considering I have a brand new hip. So let me grab another chair. That wasn't funny. I'm glad I did fall. I am glad that you guys were not bearing witness to that, because my chair, the seat, look at this. The seat totally broke off of my chair. I can't show it to you. It's hanging on by a thread. Oh, here. Look, the seat fell off. The seat broke off of my rolly stool, threw me into the floor. Yes, I'm fine. I actually caught myself before I completely hit the ground. But I'm doing good, Rima. I'm all right. So, well, let's regroup. Wow. Okay. That was crazy. I predicted it though, didn't I? I'm good. I did not hurt myself at all. I did not hurt myself at all. I'm going to turn this up just a little. I'm fine, y'all. It hurt my pride more than anything. So, you know, there's that. Oops, I went the wrong way, didn't I? Hang on. Oh, that was funny. That was funny. I have fallen off my stool in a live before, so it's like same different day, same stuff, different day. So, yeah, that was slightly amusing. Yeah, it could have been if I was on video. I'm glad I wasn't. That would have been worse. I don't know. It might have been funnier if I had been on video. Okay, so guys, Lord have mercy. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. Right, guys? You guys know. Okay, so let me take a breath. What we're going to do is mix up some resin. And I am, right? I know y'all are. That would have been good for a blooper, wouldn't it? I'm going to mix up some resin. Then I am going to divvy it into 4 different cups. I'm going to color 4 different colors of resin. And then we're going to create a really cool cheese board. I got to quit moving it. A really cool cheese board out of this found board and resin. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, I know this is level, so I'm going to go ahead, put my gloves on and mix up. Y'all funny now. We're going to mix up some resin. These gloves are already sticky because I was pouring resin from my big jug into my little jug. So yeah. There's no such thing as pre-mixed resin. You mean maybe ready to pour paint, but not resin. Not to my knowledge. Resin is by nature 2 parts, so it'd be kind of hard to have it pre-mixed. Oh, Now I'm sticky. Okay, Mark did push me. No, I actually haven't had any. That's what's bad. I haven't had a drop of wine, and here I am falling on the floor. I'm sorry y'all missed that. Would have been some good live action. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix some resin. I'm gonna mix 4 ounces for this cheese board. So that means I'm gonna mix 2 ounces of resin. I don't wanna go over. It's hard to see the line. 2 ounces of resin. That is the problem, Maureen. And then 2 ounces of hardener. And then we're gonna mix that up, and then we're gonna divvy it and tint the resin. So now we'll do 2 ounces of hardener. Be careful when you're mixing in 1 cup this way, because if you over pour one part or the other, you're gonna have a hot mess. It's super hard to figure out what you need to do to balance that out if you're not doing it in 2 cups. So my suggestion, new people, 2 ounces in 1 cup, 2 ounces in the other, mix them together. All right? Deal, deal. Thanks for the sprinkles. Okay, so Rima, are you here, baby? Can you time me while I recompose myself and mix this resin? This came from... the link is on the Shattered Circle page, okay? It came, I can't remember exactly where I got them, but there is a link. In every video that we have on the Shattered Circle, there is a link to these measuring bowls. Somebody can probably tell you what it is. Paintstore.com, maybe? Something like that. Is it paintstore.com, Catherine? Yeah, they have them at Lowe's too. But at the paintstore.com, you can get a variety of sizes, and they're a little cheaper in bulk. I don't use these a whole lot anymore, but when I have a larger batch, I usually do. So we're gonna do a cute little cheese board. I was calling it charcuterie last night in the Shattered Circle and got in trouble because apparently it's charcuterie. And I'm a Southern girl, so that's just how we roll. We pronounce things the way Southerners pronounce them, like supper. So yeah, you could probably get them about anywhere, but if you want bulk, you want to go to paintstore.com or even Amazon and find them there. Did I say? I must have said it right because Rima said bravo. Charcuterie. Rima thinks I talk funny, and I think Rima talks funny. So we're gonna stir this, guys, for 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna divvy it up into 3 separate cups. Then I'm going to use some colorant, some paint, to tint each cup a different color. Debbie, that's funny. You know I had to, because I have to tell you what happened, Debbie, is after we were done with our live last night, Rima sent me a message, and she sent me a voice message telling me how to pronounce it, and then made me send her a voice message back pronouncing it correctly. So Rima had my number, and she was making sure I did right. So I had to show off. Sean Connery board. That's funny, Glenda. That's pretty funny. I told them I was just going to call it a cheese board and be done with it. Right? No need for all that craziness. I like Sean Connery board, though. I think I may start calling it that. I think I might. Everybody calls them something different, so... Hello, North Dakota. Thanks for being here. It's very hot in the South as well. Hot and humid, which you might not have in the Dakotas. So it's like you walk out and your whole body melts. So, is somebody timing me? Snack board. That's right, Christine. All kinds of stuff. People call them all kinds of different things. But we're going to call this one gorgeous once it's done. Time is up. Okay, good. So we have 4 ounces of cooter and ours in the South. That's right. We have 4 cups. I'm going to mix 4 colors, okay? The main color I'm going to use is going to be white, okay? So what I'm going to do is put about an ounce of the 4, or a little over an ounce of the 4 in 1 cup. And then the next color, whoops. I'm dripping all over my board, not that it's a big deal. The next color is gonna be blue. And another blue. And another blue. And then we're gonna add some gold too, but y'all are gonna get a kick out of what we're gonna do with that. You're gonna freak out. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss the end. And if you have to beg off and run away, make sure you come back in about 20 minutes and don't miss the end, because how we're going to finish this out is going to blow your mind. So we got a little bit of resin in each cup, about a little less than an ounce in 3 and a little over an ounce in 1. Okay, so we got 3. Now I'm gonna set this aside. I hear you curvy ladies crafting. Okay, so 1 cup we're going to use white, okay? So I'm gonna take my cup that has the largest amount of resin. So it's got about a little over an ounce. And I'm just going to use Anita's acrylic white to tint my resin. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 squirts. 1, 2, that's probably a good solid tablespoon of acrylic paint. And then we're gonna mix it really well. Make sure it's blended and all the colorant is mixed in with the, make sure it's mixed well is all I'm trying to say. Okay? The next one is going to be, I have 3 blues, okay? We have 3 different blues, light, medium, dark, and one of them is metallic. Okay, so let's start with the lightest. That is Americana Aqua Sky. We're gonna use just a little less than a tablespoon since we have a little less color or a little less resin in there. So we're gonna mix that blue in. This is a delicious color. Thank you, curvy lady. It feels funny calling you curvy lady, but I get it. I'm a curvy lady too, so I get it. Thank you for saying that though, I appreciate it. I use painted glass with resin all the time, Bonnie. I paint it. You can make sure it just sets for a few days. Why doesn't the paint change the setting of resin? It just doesn't. If you put too much paint in there, it will. But as little paint as we're sticking in, it's not going to hurt it a bit. Okay. So you can also use alcohol inks, but they're translucent, and you're not going to get the same effects. That's okay. This color is Anita's Island Green. We're going to do almost a tablespoon. Uh-oh, I ran out of sticks. Let me use this one. And this one is delicious. Now, as long as you're not using too much, if you use a lot of acrylic paint in your resin, you can add a smidge of alcohol. I had a lot of white in that one, so I did put a little squirt of denatured alcohol in that to keep it loose and not clumpy. but it's not 100% necessary. It just keeps it from getting clumpy. But if you put too much resin, let me get another stick. If you put too much resin in, or too much paint in your resin, it will clump up and be hard to level out. Okay, last color is metallic. It is Dazzling Metallic Teal. It is fantastical. Hi, Sherry. Oh, awesome. So this is the metallic. I'm gonna put one extra dollop. That is teal metallic. Oh goodness, guys, look at that. Look at that deliciousness. Stir it up really good. Mix it, blend it. I'm gonna put a little squirt in here just because it's metallic, and metallic gets clumpy anyway. Okay, so here is what we're doing. Okay, so we have white, we have a light teal, a medium teal, and a dark metallic teal. I'm gonna start with my white, and I am going to cover about 65 to 70% of my cheese board with the white, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just pour it, and then I'll move it around if I need to. So we'll just pour. And you want to pour off the edge. You don't want it to stop, like I just had that stopped in the middle. You won't want it to stop in the middle and like your color just started in the middle of your board. Kind of go off the edge and let it run and drip. Let me see if I could scrape the rest of this out. So this is our main color. I know this is gonna look like a hot mess until I do some magic at the end. So make sure you hang out for the magic. Okay, so there is and this has a little, the little divot, or whatever you call the little dam, the little, whatever you wanna call that, little routed out edge on the edges. So I wanna make sure a lot of resin doesn't pool in there. And I'll use my finger to fix that too when we're done. So while I'm working on the white, I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna make sure that some of that white resin is on all of the edge. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull some out and make sure the edges are completely covered with that resin. This is regular acrylic paint. You could use color shift. I don't see any reason why. So I just want to make sure that the edges have resin before you get started, because sometimes you forget, especially if you fall off your chair. All right. Now we're going to start with some color. All right. And so the first thing I want to do, I'm going to wipe this off my hands. I'm going to start with my lightest color, and I'm going to kind of fill in places where I don't have white. Now don't forget, you want to come off the board. I tried not to do it that time, didn't I? All the way off so it runs down that side as well. And there's really no rhyme or reason for where I'm placing it. I'm just kind of just doing whatever. Let's put some up here. This looks like a hot mess, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yes, my board is elevated. It's got popsicle sticks under it. All right. We may use the rest of that in a minute. I want to use my next color, which is the medium tone. We'll add some in between there. We'll add a bit here. Make sure you fill in any holes where you didn't hit the white or the board the first time. You want to make sure there's resin on every part of your board. All right. Now our last color is the metallic. Such fantastical. I'm gonna move this over. Okay, this is the metallic. So I'm gonna fill it in, let it run off the side. I'm gonna fill in any holes that I have left with this metallic. Metallic is fantastical. Let's fill that in. Come off the board. A little dollop here and there. So it should be super thick and heavy. All right. I think I'll need a little bit right there. All right, so you are going to want to pay attention to what we're doing next, because what we're doing next is the most important part. Well, we're gonna do one more thing first, okay? So what I'm gonna do is just kind of go through and make sure that all my board is covered. Hello. And then I'm gonna do something I should be doing outside, but that's okay too. So make sure there are no holes in your resin. I fell off my chair. No holes, and now you're gonna wanna watch this, okay? So the next thing we're gonna use is probably gonna freak you out, because we are gonna use, where is it? Spray paint. So let's shake it up. Wear a mask, grab it up, do it outside, put it in a box, something. Let me see. All right, so watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this gold Krylon spray paint, okay? And I am going to cover the entire top with gold. Look at that. All right? Looks like I blew it, don't it? Looks like I ruined everything. But I didn't, promise. So now I'm gonna take one of my sticks. Woo! I'm high now. I'm gonna take one of my sticks, and I'm just going to go left and right and run my stick through that gold, back and forth. If you put it upright, it's gonna make a thin line. If you lay it down a little bit, about at a 45, you're gonna get a bigger line. And if you lay it flat, you can get a big, fat, juicy line. All right. So now we're gonna do one more thing, and then we'll futz with it. Okay, so you remember I was using, we're gonna do the edges in just a second, but remember I was using the denatured alcohol, or you can use the 99% alcohol to add a little mix to the color on the video is so wrong. It is so teal and it looks super blue there. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this denatured alcohol in my spray bottle, and I'm going to come about 1.5 feet off the top of my piece and I'm gonna squirt. Now you see what happened? Do you see how that opened up and made all that gold separate? Can you see that? It made little pits and made all that gold separate out. All right, so now I'm gonna mess with my edges. I don't really care too much what they look like as long as they have color on them and don't have huge drips. All right, so just micromanage your edges a little bit. Make sure there's color on them. That one looks good. I don't want to get my hair in it. I'll scoop some up off the ground or off the table. And now, last thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna take my gloves off. Hang on. Y'all, the color on this piece is so different in person than it looks like on screen. It's kind of crazy. I'm gonna get another stick real quick and break up a little more of this gold in a couple of spots. Just futzing now. And here's the deal. You don't know what you're gonna get in the end because it's gonna keep changing and it's gonna do what it does until it's dry. So don't think that when you're done and this is what it looks like, it's gonna be the same when it's dry. So before we stop, I'm gonna hit it with a propane torch just so I make sure I don't have a bunch of bubbles. We don't want bubbles on our cheese board. And we are done. I can tell that I'm still a little high on this side, so I may have to put another stick under there. So, yes, thank you, Bianca. Yes, I've done several colors, blacks, golds, all kinds of stuff. Have you tried a heat gun after all of that or a blow dryer? A heat gun works great. A blow dryer only works a little bit. So I'm gonna put some gloves back on and I'm gonna lift this up so you can see it a little more close up and see if you can see the actual color instead of the color that it looks like on screen, because I promise you, it's not that color. It looks blue. So let me show ya. Let me lift it up real quick and show you close up. Have to wait for my camera to catch up. Show you close up what that looks like. I'm gonna flip it around. I'm probably getting resin where I don't want it, but we'll figure that out. So it's actually very turquoisey and not as blue as it looks on the screen. For some reason, it's coming off a little different. So give me 2 seconds to futz here. And then we'll turn the camera back up. We're gonna give away a little something from last week. So I'm over managing it, I think. It's gorgeous. It's really pretty, and it's gonna keep moving around and shifting and changing as it starts to cure. So I'm gonna do one more squirt. See how that breaks up the gold?